Hi, everyone, and welcome to this month's Pipe17 Customer Office Hours. I'm Christina Dudley, VP of Marketing here at Pipe17, and we are so thrilled to have you. If you're new to our Office Hours series, this is a monthly session where we'll roll up our sleeves and tackle real-world challenges, the kinds that can make or break fulfillment performance. It's an open Q&A style session, so please feel free to drop your questions into the Q&A chat as we go. Our team of experts is standing by to help. Today, we're zeroing in on something every Shopify merchant knows too well: overselling, SKU mismatches, and inaccurate inventory data. These are silent killers of margin and customer trust, and the very problems that Pipe17 was built to eliminate. As you all know, Pipe17 is not just syncing systems. We're creating connected, visible, intelligent order operations that keep your entire commerce stack in lockstep. And today, I'd love to introduce Anand Kathari, our VP of Engineering at Pipe17, who will walk us through a couple of things. We're going to cover three core concepts: how safe inventory push helps eliminate overselling across channels, how to reconcile inventory to eliminate under and overselling risks, and how to adjust fulfillment locations for accurate inventory deduction. By the end of this session, you'll see how Pipe17 gives you what every operator wants: confidence and control over every order, every item, and every channel. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get started. Anand, over to you.
Thanks, Christina. Thanks. Good morning, good afternoon, I guess. Good evening for some of you who come from different parts of the world. This is Anand. I run engineering at Pipe17. It's my pleasure to be here to talk about a few of the many features, functionality we provide to help you manage your operations better. As Christina was saying, this for some is a major challenge, and we do our best to make it simple for you. And I will talk about a few things today and show you how simple they are. I don't have any slides. I'm just going to show a quick demo or the view of the UI live, praying to the demo gods that everything stays good. Meanwhile, as she was saying, we would love it to be interactive. You have questions, please drop them. We are here more to answer your questions rather than just talk about the functionality we have. Okay, this could be timely also, be given that the holiday season is coming. As you guys are pushing a lot of your products out there and marketing and promoting them, you do want to make sure that you're neither overselling nor underselling your products. So you optimize the inventory. I'm talking Shopify, but Pipe17 is sort of built in a way that this very same functionality is available to other commerce channels as well. So I'm just taking the view to make it simple to discuss is just Shopify as a channel, but it works across multiple different e-commerce channels, the same exact concept. Okay, so with that, I'm going to share my screen and talk a little bit about a couple of functionality that would help you manage your inventory really well during this season. Okay, so hopefully you can see my screen. It's the dashboard of my environment, zoomed in enough, I hope that you can see it. These screens resolutions can be a little painful. If not, let me know. Okay, so let's go to our integrations, and we'll focus first on Shopify most of the time, but if you have questions for others, do let us know. Okay, so as you guys know, connecting Shopify is super easy. You just drop in an integration, walk through a connection flow, auth connects, and then you just enable all your flows. As simple as that. I want to push orders, I want to pull orders, I want to do it in both directions. Same with inventory, the push or pull inventory, and we do that um, on a periodic, near real time. But even though when you do near real time inventory, there are three systems here, actually more than three in many cases. There is Shopify, there is Pipe17, and then there is all your WMSs, all your warehouses. There could be more than one. No matter how real time you want, there is always a latency, right? There is a latency between how inventory comes into Pipe17 from warehouse. Every warehouse updates their inventory at a different interval. Even if we pull inventory at a very rapid interval, they may have stale data because they take time to update their inventory. We get that data, we push it into Shopify. That has a little latency. Orders coming in from Shopify, we pull it into Pipe17, process them. That has latency. So there is always a little bit here and there. Therefore, perfect inventory synchronization is very, very difficult. That's why you have to use other methods to make sure that you s- re- he- set it up so that you're not overselling or underselling. Okay, so let's go through a couple of different options here that Pipe17, and they're very simple. Very simple. It's as simple as just won't even believe they are. So first thing we allow people to do is reconcile inventory on a regular basis. This happens, or this is needed most likely because, as I just was saying, there may be things that are done manually in Shopify or manually in some other channel. You saw some inventory was incorrect or whatever, you manually adjusted them at certain point, and therefore now all the channels are out of sync. um, you need to reconcile. This usually is one of the biggest reason why you undersell, is because you manually made a change to inventory in Shopify, and then that is out of sync with how the data is coming from warehouse and being pushed into Shopify. So on a periodic basis, on a daily basis, when the traffic is low, you can turn this thing simply on and say, hey, reconcile my inventory, set it right so that I am not underselling my inventory. Now we will allow to set the schedule as well. Right now it is specific time 12 to 2, because that's where most of the traffic, very we see very low traffic during that time, and therefore it's quiet time to do the reconciliation. So that essentially helps you to improve undersell performance of your product. And it's simple click of a button, we will take care of it. We will run it during this time, calculate all the deltas and reconcile our inventory to make it synchronous. Having said that, keep in mind we are still sending inventory real time. It's just that when we are doing it, and if you are manually adjusting your inventory in your selling channel, you need a reconciliation at some point in time, and we allow that to do it just by a click of a button once a day. Okay, so that helps you with undersell. Now the other one that is quite more useful during especially promotion season is avoiding oversell, and that generally happens is when you have inventory products that are flowing, or the orders that are flowing off the shelf, like specific queues that are selling crazy, and all these orders are flying into Pipe17. Many times you hold those orders into Pipe17 for remorse period, right? You don't want to send them to your warehouse for 30 minutes or so, because sometimes they change, they cancel, etc. So these orders flow in pipe, then we route it to warehouse then deducts the inventory comes back. There is constant change happening in that inventory. um, and as that is happening, as we are synchronizing inventory, there are, because it's a rapid flow, there are possibilities that we may end up adjusting the on hand inventory in Shopify above what is not yet accounted for the orders that are still in Shopify, not pulled by us, the orders that are in Pipe17 still waiting, not sent, or orders that are sent but warehouse hasn't accounted for. They all could add up, and therefore your on hand, or and which drives your available in Shopify, may be inaccurate. So if we continuously send inventory, it is possible that we have inflated inventory because of all these adjustments not put in place, and therefore push in higher than available inventory, and therefore you may oversell. So this functionality essentially makes sure that we only send adjustments that reduce on hand and available, not grow it during a period of time, during a period of promotion, and only adjust it at the end of the day. Usually because you have new inventory coming in, inbound, your purchase orders, etc. Okay, when everything slows down at the end of the day, we will reconcile, we will adjust, we'll push the increased in the on hand. But during the day, you trust the commits of Shopify. We will send, if you are selling the same product in multiple channels and the inventory is actually going down, um, because you're selling in Shopify, you're selling Target, Walmart, eBay, etc., it's going down, we'll push the reduction in inventory during the entire day. But we will not push an increase in inventory, which usually is because the delayed calculation, the increase in inventory could mean oversell for you. So this allows you to control that. So these are the two big pieces of functionality you should consider, especially during this season, to make sure that you have managed your inventory well, both to control oversell and undersell. One last thing, and I know we have a lot of questions going, so I'll talk about one thing more, and then we'll go to the Q&A. As you guys know, we can send totals to Shopify, um, totals of all your warehouses, or you can send map individual locations, one to one Shopify location to your warehouse location. You can map it and send the specific warehouse location inventory to a specific location of Shopify. That is what we call location mapping. If you don't do location mapping, you want to take the total and send it, then this is essentially how you do it. You just pick a location in Shopify and say, hey, send my all my totals there. We do allow you to exclude certain locations from that total, and you would do that on our locations page, and you can just say, hey, don't include this location in the total, so that you can do customize aggregation essentially. Finally, we do allow you to send available and on hand. Sometimes, usually it's available is what you want to send, which means you are accounting for the commits in Pipe 17 from other channels other than Shopify, because your available is adjusting. Um, and But if you're only selling in Shopify and you want to rely on their commits, because for some reason you have other things that are also reserving inventory there, then you want to send on hand. And depending on those, you have to be careful which one you want to send, what your scenario is. One last thing I'll say before we head to Q&A is, one of the most important things we have seen a lot of our customers rely on to have accurate inventory in Shopify is this functionality. So as you all know, Shopify, once you place an order in Shopify, it will allocate the order to a location and create a fulfillment order. Now, when you pull that order in Pipe 17, you may have your own order routing rules that actually pick another location. We also have sometimes, when we send any order to a particular warehouse, the WMS system decides the location based on their internal algorithm. So at the end of it may get fulfilled from a completely different location than what Shopify picked. Well, great, you'll ship the product, but when we send a tracking and close the order, or essentially mark the order shipped and fulfilled in Shopify, if we have two choice, leave the location as is or adjust the location. If you leave the location as is, it's essentially telling Shopify, we shipped from that location even though we did not, which means now that location has invalid inventory or incorrect inventory, while the location from which we actually shipped is also having incorrect inventory if that location is mapped in Shopify. So it becomes a problem if we just say that, yeah, we fulfilled whatever location you told, but actually fulfilled for somewhere else. So what we do is, just with one click of a button, allow you to swap that location. When we push in the fulfillment, we will update the fulfillment order in Shopify to reflect the correct location, and then mark it fulfilled. So now the inventory will be properly accounted for in the right location. It really matters if the location inventory in Shopify is important to you, as well as that information is flowing to your ERP, because otherwise your ERP will have wrong inventory in both the locations. So it's a simple click of a button to do that. It's really has put a lot of value in a lot of our customers who had these issues where inventory would be out of sync in these locations, because you really fulfill from a different location than what was allocated. Okay, I'll pause here. um should we go through Q&A? Let's bring Christina on stage. um and if you have any, Christina, if you are, I am able to see questions here. Let me see.
Yes.
I'm not able to somehow see the questions, so maybe you'll have to help me.
Let's see. I am looking.
And
All right. So if you guys have questions, please put them into the Q&A chat, which is at the right-hand panel of your section. And we are here to answer any questions about how everything works. It's your office hours, so please ask away, customers.
if you don't ask questions, I'll keep talking. I'm sure you don't want me to continue talking, so please, any questions you may have. Um,
Let's see. There's some technical issues with the Q&A, so let's just post to the chat. Yep. All right. So drop your chats in there. Besides Shopify, where else can safe inventory push be used on
Amazon, we can push it to Amazon, big commerce, pretty much all major e-commerce connectors we have. Yeah, and if you see anyone that doesn't have it and you're using it, um, just drop a note to us, and we will introduce it for sure. It doesn't take much time to add this support to any channel that is of your interest, but all the major ones are covered. Yeah.
Kevin asked a question. Is there any possibility in the near future that we may be able to manage inventory sync scheduled times?
Just regular or the reconciliation, Kevin? Which one? The regular sync that we do
He
continuously,
said
or
inventory sync intervals, etc.
okay? So right now, we definitely will let you configure when the reconciliation happens and when you want to push the safe inventory. The two options that I talked, which happen between 12 and 2, right now Pacific, we will allow for sure to configure that whatever is safe time for you to do the reconciliation. The inventory that we push today to e-commerce channel is real time, essentially every 5 minutes, or it's continuously happening, and it's change based. When we see a change that we think is relevant for a e-commerce channel, we push that change and we make it real time. That is essentially one of the big, what do you call it, the USPs, values of our platform. But looks like you're asking whether we will allow to control that in future, whether the regular sync, instead of happening near real time, you want to do it on a periodic basis. Is that right? If that is the case, I'm not sure I can see it here, but if that is the case, then we can consider that is not something our value is real time inventory push, real time inventory sync. So if there are channels where real time inventory sync is a problem for you, and you feel that this needs to be scheduled at a certain time, um, absolutely we can support it. Just drop us a note, we'll find a way to support that, those channels. But fundamentally, we think that inventory needs to be synced real time in your selling channel. You don't want that to be stale. So that's the current design and architecture.
All right. Any more questions from? Oh, let's see. I have one here. Anand, you mentioned if we don't to drop you a note if we don't see safe
Support.
inventory push on the channel.
Yeah.
Best way to get a hold of
Most
you.
way to do it is support at pipe17.com. Just email or drop or create a ticket. I mean, it automatically associates you to the orgs you are part of, and we'll know which one. So yeah, just a standard support ticket. We watch them like a hawk. So yeah.
Okay. Kevin has another question. How has your team better managed the competing syncs, for example, inventory syncs versus fulfillment syncs and the latency between those and the sync timing?
Yeah, so that's a good point. That's a really good point. So inventory sync and fulfillment syncs are in two different parallel threads. Now we are not going into a lot of technicalities here, but every integration, so Shopify here for an example, when you activate an integration, we have a bunch of threads, bunch of jobs that we run on continuous basis, and those spread the workload of all the entities you have enabled. So in this case, I have enabled order flow, pull and push. So that's two threads. Product pull 3, inventory 4, fulfillment 5, returns are disabled, statements I'm pulling 6. So that each activity, entity in or out, we schedule in these threads. Now what we do is we do prioritize them based on the entity. So for example, inventory and product go together, we first do inventory and do product. Order and fulfillment go together, we first pull in orders and push fulfillments, but they too are different threads. So inventory and fulfillments are different threads. They go at different times, on their own, continuously. Why? Because inventory can take time, right? Inventory, depending on your catalog, may take time, and you don't want fulfillment to be starved because inventory is taking time, right? Because if, especially if you have channels like Amazon, pushing back the tracking for your orders, especially SFP orders, is very critical on time. So that's why it's a different thread than the inventory. So it doesn't get starved on its because of inventory. And inventory push is a big variable because of the size of the catalog.
Someone anonymous asked a question. I see this as an option in the Shopify integration. What does that mean? Does this mean that if
This
I add an additional size, it doesn't get added in Pipe unless this is on?
this is, sorry, additional.
This one we might have to help triage
This,
offline.
I see this as an option. Yeah, this. Will you know
What is
what this
this,
means?
anonymous? Please help clarify. Let's see. Are there additional questions? To confirm, yes, this call is being recorded, and we will absolutely send a recording as a follow up. Let's see. Oh, a bunch more questions came in. Kyle asked if the host ERP has multiple buckets of how inventory is defined, say 8 different buckets. Can Pipe17 map each bucket appropriately to the designated warehouse?
Yes, that's called location mapping. So when we well, so first of all, when you say buckets, there has to be something that represents the bucket in ERP. In our world, it's in location, but we pull those locations from ERP. That's ERP locations. We have the warehouse locations, and there is this notion of, let me show you where, here, locations. In these locations you do mapping. So what you do is you take your warehouse location. Say for example, here is my warehouse location. Pick any random one, come on. And in that I would start.
Sorry to interrupt. Will you share your screen? Are you sharing
Oh, I'm
what
not
you're doing?
sharing. Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Bring it back. Bring it back. Okay. Um, Thank you. Locations under inventory. You go to these locations. You can pick a particular location, and at the bottom you have a way to merge these locations. So this one I picked a warehouse location, right? Because it has a 3PL integration, which means this is a warehouse location. This is where the inventory is. and then you would merge that into an existing location, and you'll pick an ERP location. Like, I do have one good example here. Actually, mostly I have full. Let's assume this one was. What would this mean is that inventory from mock Detroit location is essentially mapped to the inventory called virtual location. Now, assume that virtual location was an ERP location. So when you push inventory to ERP, it will look at this mapping and say, okay, ERP is this location, but it is merged into that location, and that is my fulfillment location. I'll pull inventory from that and push it into ERP. That's how you can do point to point mapping between warehouse, ERP. You can do the same thing from warehouse to the selling channel, Shopify and others that support multiple location.
Amazing. All right. Well, we are almost at the top of the hour. If anybody has any final questions. Oh, Kevin has one more. We're going to allow for one more. If you still have questions, please reach out to either your customer support team or just find a way to get a hold of Pipe17 via carrier pigeon. We'll reach out. Kevin, I noticed that the Shopify commits inventory right away when an order is placed. How does Pipe17 reconcile this if inventory hasn't been committed yet in Pipe17 until an order is routed and the shipping request is pushed over?
Yeah, that's somebody here knows a lot about Pipe17. Okay, so there is a notion of what we call virtual location, or what in Pipe17. And what you have to do is, if you go into order routing, or sorry, into inventory engine, which is our inventory here, you just have to enable, sorry, it's a little slow here. Inventory, if you go to our inventory engine, there is a little flag which says enable virtual location. Okay, what does it do? And this in itself actually is a long session. We should have a separate one maybe in one of the office hours. But in a nutshell, this is what, Kevin, what you were saying it does. As soon as an order drops into Pipe17, we don't know where we will route it, because first you are going to hold, you have hold, and then you run your routing rules, and routing rules are inventory based, so it may route, may not route, depending on out of stock, etc. So to accommodate all of that, you enable a virtual location. As soon as an order drops, we commit inventory for that location, for that order, into this special location called in virtual location. Okay, now you can map that virtual location, or include that virtual locations in the totals that you're sending to your sales channel. So essentially it acts as a fake location where all the orders, pre-routed orders, accumulate, and it has a negative inventory, meaning it has a commit and negative available, because there is no on hand, just commit, and then therefore available is negative, and that negative gets added to the total when it is sent to the selling channel. So the selling channel now knows that Pipe17 has this committed, even though it is not routed. Once the routing happens in Pipe17, we automatically remove that line or commit from this location, and move that commit into whatever the location the order was routed. So the net is same. Total remains the same, because it's reduced from one and added to the other one. So the totals remain the same going into the selling channel. So from selling channel's perspective, it is accounted even as soon as it's dropped into Pipe17. Thanks for asking. There is a whole chapter on in our docs for virtual commits. You want to look at it. There are m- more complex setup you have to do. If you are doing point to point mapping, you can still do virtual commit by setting each location that you're doing location mapping and enabling virtual commit on it. I think that will require a whole new session, because it is a complex topic.
Kevin will be in touch.
And
And it looks like Julian had a similar vein question. In the future, will the inventory engine be configurable with how it manages committed, unsellable, and available?
committed, unsellable, and unavailable. Okay. In some ways it is today. So the question is, what specific configurability you are looking for. So we do have the notion of commit unavailable, and available. And available is a calculation based on committed, uh, unavailable. Even now we have damaged, and a couple of other categories. So you can do custom mappings when this data comes into pipe 17 and adjust these values, and that would reflect to available. Question, Julianne, would be, and if you can drop a note in support at pipe 17, I would love to answer like what exact configurability you are looking for, because today you can configure these values as they come in into from the warehouse. When we ingest the inventory, you can configure these values on exactly where they go. We have multiple fields in our inventory object for unavailable, for damage, for etc, and then they are used to do the calculation of available. If you're looking for anything beyond that in terms of configurability, drop us a note, and I would love to hear the use case and give a more accurate answer.
Yeah, it sounds like, well, we can follow up with you, Julian. It sounds like it's another committed thing. So awesome.
Mhm.
I know we are a couple minutes over, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much, Anand, and everyone who joined us today for your participation and your questions. We hope this session was really helpful to showcase how Pipe 17 can help keep your entire Shopify operation connected, accurate, and effortless. If you didn't get to ask a question or want to talk further, please reach out to your account manager or your support team. We have support at pipe17.com. We will be doing this again month over month. So please come back and join us next month. And until then, happy selling and smooth operations.